Hi friends, welcome to the SB Studio rig derailleur. We're gonna actually focus on this one, which has been just stripped apart by me. And this is the one assembled, because in order to understand where some parts are and how they work, you need to see fully assembled rig derailleur. This is the 1992 Shimano 105 road derailleur. This is the 2020 Shimano XTR mountain bike derailleur. As you will see, this construction of the derailleur hasn't changed much. The rear mech did change in terms of how it works, but the construction is pretty much the same. On the next episode, we're gonna compare the old 105 to the newest old Tigra, both road. And the episode after that, I will tell you which parts of the derailleur, how to maintain those in order to keep your shifting smooth. But let's get into the topic of the parts of the rear derailleur. Let's just say that this is the main part of the derailleur. This is the parallelogram, and this one is made of the b-knuckle, the P-knuckle, and two arms of the parallelogram, or the plates. The outer one, because this will be the outer side of the bike, and the inner one, the wheel, will be here. The parallelogram makes our derailleur shift the gears. So in order to move the chain through the cassette, we need this part. The parallelogram not only pushes the cage with the pulleys inwards like this, but as you will see, it also pushes those downwards. So this pulley will go not like this, it will go like that, because that's the shape of the cassette with its sprockets. So this is the parallelogram, and spoiler alert, this is one of the most crucial parts that you should maintain on the bike so that your shifting is crisp. So b-knuckle, P-knuckle. These are knuckles, right? These are knuckles here, making our fingers work, and these are knuckles making the derailleur work. Now, when we shift up the cassette from the higher to the lower gear, we use the force of our fingers, and then it goes like this, but it turns back by itself thanks to this spring right here. So this is here, and on the newest Shimano XTR, this is the spring. You see, I'm now forcing the spring to extend, and now it goes back. This is how it works, you see? All right, so this is one of the three main springs. The second one is being mounted, or was being mounted right here, because the b-knuckle, this part, also attaches the derailleur to the bike or to the rear derailleur hanger. And this spring also positions the derailleur like that. And this one is no longer being put on the newest rear derailleur. So here inside, on the newest one, we only have the pivot. We also have the adjustment. I'm going to show you that in a second, but there is no spring inside, as we didn't really need those springs. So this was number one. And then just around that spring, we would have this part, my friends. It goes something like that. And then we're gonna have a little screw right here, and this one is called the B tension screw, because this is the b-knuckle, and this screw would be right here. I'm going to show you this one on the fully assembled rear derailleur. This is it. It will push away this little thing, and this one will lean against the rear derailleur hanger. By screwing this one in, we are changing the angle of the rear derailleur, which actually adjusts the distance between the upper pulley of the rear derailleur to the cassette. So this is the B tension screw. On the older drivetrains like this one, it was okay not to know how to adjust this one, but on the 12-speed cassettes with the huge sprockets, if you mess up with this one, you mess up with the gearing. But anyway, this was also on the older ones, and you should know what the distance should be between the pulley and the cassette. All right, then this is this little locking part or clips that's assembling this, and this to the B-knuckle. And then we have another pivot and another spring. This one goes here, and this will go here. So they're inside. Oh, come on, baby. Like this. All right. So that was the B-knuckle that attaches the derailleur to the hanger, and here is the P-knuckle. The P-knuckle will put the tension on the rear derailleur cage. Okay. Why do we need the tension? Because on the fully assembled, because this, see, oh, this is it. The spring is right there in the B-knuckle. The newer type of the derailleurs also have the clutch inside, but the construction is pretty much the same. This is the B-knuckle, the P-knuckle, and the spring is there. And this spring pulls on the chain, putting tension on the chain so that your chain isn't loose. This is it. And while we are here, you see this spring would be here, then it goes into the P-knuckle like this, and we've got the tension on the chain. Now the cage is made of the inner plate, sorry, this is the outer plate and the inner plate. All right, so we have the outer plate, please focus on this one, all right, and the inner plate, and it's cage because in this cage these two pulleys are kind of trapped. Let me show you on this one. This is a huge cage for a long chain mountain bike drivetrain. You can see the inner plate, the outer plate, and the pulleys in between. The upper pulley is also called the guide pulley because the upper pulley, please zoom in, the upper pulley, which is this one, it's guiding the chain through the cassette. So when you shift the gear, this is the pulley, this is the actual part of the derailleur, which will push the chain up the cassette or pull it back. So this is the upper pulley or jockey wheel or the guide pulley, and then the one at the bottom is the lower pulley or the tension pulley, because this is the one that pulls the chain, putting some tension on it. As we said, we've got some tension on the cage because of the spring which is inside here, and this pulley, that's the one which is pulling the chain to the back, thus putting some tension on it. Okay, so this is the guide pulley, this is the guide pulley, this is the tension pulley. Then we have, of course, the bolts which are assembling the pulleys to the cage, locking the cage. Then there is this little small pin which goes right here. It goes right there, and this pin will not allow our cage, derailleur cage, to spin around, because there will be this spring here with some tension, and because we put the tension on it, the cage would like to go back. This pin here will stop it from doing it. All right, so this is it, and here it is. You can see it. What you hear is this pin hitting the P-knuckle here. Okay, some close up here in 4K. Here we have it. This is it. So this is the only job of this little part. Then we have the barrel adjustment assembly, which is this little bolt with a cable stop inside. My focus is so quick, but when I'm doing this video for you, it's not that quick anymore. So the housing goes inside here. Then we have this little spring, and then it goes inside this little barrel, and this is the adjustment. So this is how we adjust the tension on the cable. Okay, so you can have a similar adjustment just by your shifter. It can sometimes be on the joint between two parts of the cable, but most of the derailleurs also have it right here. So just where the cable goes in, you've got this barrel adjuster. Let me wait a little bit for the focus, okay, to react. That would be here. And then the cable goes from here through this little hole to here, where we assemble this bolt and this nut right here. Let's see on this derailleur. On this particular derailleur, we don't have a barrel adjuster right here. It's on the shifter only, and actually one barrel adjuster is enough. So if it's just around the shifter, you don't need another one right here. The cable then goes here, and here we have the mounting bolt. This one will pinch the cable that goes in right here. All right, so this is it right here. There will be also some spacer, some shim for it, and these two will go actually on both sides of the b-knuckle, and that's pretty much it. And of course this pivot here, that's the one here. This one makes our derailleur move around it. This is it. So when you understand just basics, the basics of how the derailleur works, you will know exactly what to do in 3 minutes in order to improve shifting on the old bike. So once again, parallelogram, b-knuckle, p-knuckle, outer plate, inner plate, tensioning spring, then the tensioning spring for the cage, outer plate, inner plate of the cage, guide pulley or jockey wheel, tensioning pulley or jockey wheel, mounting bolts, locking pin or bolt, and then the cable assembling nut and bolt with the shim, the barrel adjuster, the b-knuckle, and of course I almost forgot, the high and low limit screws, which will limit the movement of the derailleur, the L to the lowest gear, which is here, So it won't allow the derailleur to go between the spokes, and then the H, the high, will stop your derailleur exactly at the highest gear and not allow to slip the chain, for the chain to slip from the cassette in between the cassette and the frame, which can be damaging to your derailleur frame and derailleur hanger. This is it. This was the easy explanation of pretty much easy working rear derailleur.